Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We are now starting off the month of October. I hope you're excited for it. It's dreary and cloudy and shitty outside, the way some of y'all like it. Well, today we're going to talk all about dating and drag. What is it like dating as an entertainer? Is it easy? Is it hard? We're going to talk about preferences, dating apps, all that stuff. I'm going to give you a little bit of my experiences and I hope that you'll share some of yours with me. And then we're going to get ready together and do this kind of sexy Natasha look. Hopefully it's everything you dreamed it could be. I call these videos GPWM, Get Painted With Me. It's just like Get Ready With Me except for drag. You already know, so if you're interested, stay tuned. And we are back. See, I told y'all I'd get a haircut. See? I look less beastly now. I'm giving you a little bit of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, a little Kid and Play, or Bert from Sesame Street. Either way, I'm good with it. So let's just hop right into priming. So as you've already heard, we are going to talk about dating and drag. Now as female impersonators, drag queens, whatever, we already represent what a lot of the gay community finds as unappealing. We're seen as highly feminine, over the top, dramatic, sissies, if you will. I've always liked that word. Side note, I never got mad in school when kids would call me a sissy or anything like that. I'd be like, okay. Can me and your sister play Barbies now? Like, what? And you'd think as you grow up as a gay male, that being made fun of for being more feminine would kind of go out the door. Like, that's what all the little straight kids would say when they'd tease you on the playground or in middle school or high school or whatever. But in a way, it kind of never goes away. Okay, so I'm doing something different today. I'm not going to use my Krylon TV paint stick today. Today I'm going to use the Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. Don't be a bastard. There we go. And my color is Punta Cana. I don't really use liquid or cream foundations that much. I like stick because it's just, well, I like stick. But anyways, I'm taking my makeup sponge. I put a little bit of that color on my hand. And we're gonna go right in. I love this color. Anyways, you guys let me know if you guys relate to any of this that I'm talking about today. But as most of you know, in the gay community, masculinity is really considered highly favored or highly liked. It's considered a preference, which oftentimes makes it hard for people like myself and any of you other entertainers out there to meet people who are interested in you on like a relationship level. There's this preconceived notion that drag queens all have this certain kind of personality, when honestly that's not true at all. I've met many entertainers that would be considered quite masculine, you know, have different interests outside of just drag. You know, drag is just something that they do, like a creative outlet. But that's just one facet of who we are as people. Other than having that in common as drag queens, we're all completely different people with different interests, different personalities. And sometimes it sucks getting stuck in that preconceived notion that men out there that you're trying to date will have of you. Make sure you get around those ears. Okay, it's brow time. Now, probably one of the most sort of toxic places as far as talking about meeting potential guys to date or whatnot, of course, are the dating apps, where people can write pretty much whatever they want in their little bio about what they're looking for and not looking for. Everyone in the community knows about this. No fats, no femmes, no blacks, no Asians, you know, all that stuff. Now, I'm not gonna go on a tirade like attacking people who feel this way. I don't think preferences are a bad thing at all. The truth is we all have our preferences. We all have those little things that we are more attracted to than other things. And we all have things that we're not attracted to. That's just the truth of us as human beings. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to attack people who are honest about their preferences or what they're attracted to. You know, even as someone who fits the bill of what a lot of people are not into, being a drag queen, not being hyper masculine, you know, being of a certain color, I understand that everyone's allowed to like whatever they like, and that's that. And now set it and forget it. However, what I do think is a problem is the lack of respect for how we let those preferences be known. You don't have to put on your profile a long list of all the things that you're not looking for, that you don't want. When you do that, it just makes you look like an asshole, honestly. I think we need to be respectful of all the people that are possibly going to come across your profile and read it and either possibly get offended, or even if it was someone that you would be interested in. Like if I read someone's profile and I was exactly their type, but they're saying, no white people, no people over this height, no people of this weight, and I don't fit any of those qualifications, so I would be okay, I would still think this guy seems like a prick and I'm not even gonna talk to him. What you can do instead is say what you're looking for, and if someone writes you that you're not interested in, just do the same thing you would do in person. Tell them, hey, thank you, but I'm not interested at this time, or, you're just not my type, I don't think we vibe, whatever. You don't have to be a giant douche rocket. Or you could be slightly douchey like me and just ghost them. I know I'm the kind of person that people hate with that kind of stuff. Even to my actual phone, like if you call me or text me or whatever, there's like a 60% chance that I won't respond until like 3 days later. Okay, I'm gonna take this and put it on the upper part of my face. I mean, I have my preferences too. My preference would be a tall, dark and handsome, like Arab prince with lots of money, who's just looking for someone to just spend it all on for no reason whatsoever. English speaking is not required. But just because that's the fantasy doesn't mean I feel it's necessary to make a list and let everyone know everything that I don't want if you're not exactly that type. You have to be somewhat open-minded, otherwise you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities to meet really interesting and cool people. And you never know who it is you're gonna end up falling in love with. Okay, now we're gonna do some concealing. And this is the Juvia's Place Magic Concealer number 16. Now this I never really do, so I have no idea how this is gonna turn out for me. Some people are just naturally more open-minded than others. And of course there are some of you guys out there that are love is love and all that stuff, and that's cool. And I think it's amazing that some of you can be that way, but that's just not everyone's story. I've really noticed for the most part that guys out there really want extremes. Like you either have to be a 7-foot tall muscle mountain man who works on cars and works out all day and chews on rocks for breakfast, I don't know. Or you have to be like this 18-year-old, 110-pound, completely hairless, uncooked chicken wing. And there's not a lot of room for in between. You either have to be a twink or a bear. I'm going into this shade stick in the color Namibia. And it's the same thing with age. Guys either want you to be a daddy or a boy. You either gotta be like over 40 or under 25. And where does any of that leave the rest of us? Okay, I'm decently blended, maybe. Now I'm gonna go in with some powder to set it. Now I've literally talked to guys, this is when I was younger too, like when I just first started barely doing drag. I talked to one guy in particular, I remember I was gonna hang out with him. And we talked on the phone one day and he asked, what'd you do this weekend? And I let him know my best friend was in a drag show. And he was like, oh, your best friend's a drag queen? I said, yeah, so am I. And he literally said, ew, why do you do that? And of course then you have to explain to guys who instantly think because you do drag it means that you want to be a woman full time. Trans and drag do not always go together. It is not the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I explained all that to him. He didn't really entirely seem to get it anyways. So I just told him, you know what? I really don't want to hang out with you. And he was like, why? We can still hook up. But at that point, I was over it. Are you supposed to go the entire time that you're with or talking to this person without ever bringing up what it is that you do because it makes them feel like not as attracted to you? Girl, bye. On the other hand, I also get the opposite. I get a lot of guys that hit me up interested in me as Natasha, which for the record, it's never gonna happen. It's their fantasy to be with someone who is either a trans or a drag queen. And although there's nothing wrong with that, I feel like we all have our fantasies or fetishes or, thoughts about God knows what. So I'm never really like blatantly rude to someone who looks at me and wants me in that way. However, I personally don't get it. I'm painted like a goddamn clown. So why you'd be interested in that, I don't know. Maybe something happened to you as a child at the circus. at Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. But I'm just not gonna be that person that fulfills that fantasy for you. I just can't. And for any of you all out there that are willing to do that for somebody, or that's your thing too, all the power to you. Natasha, however, is a sexless being. She doth not fornicate because she finds it sinful. Or the guys that are in your DMs who are always from some completely different country, like usually somewhere in India or Egypt. No shade, but y'all can't tell me that your DMs do not get flooded with it. And they'll be telling you how pretty you are, how they want to be with you. They'll send you a million pictures of their junk. And then when you don't respond, they threaten to behead you or stone you to death, which ironically is one of my kinks. But then I have to tell them, like, unless you're that Arab prince that I'm looking for, you know, it's just not gonna work. And I'm sorry about it. Okay, let's do a brow. I'm gonna try to give a little bit of sexy today. We'll see what happens. Now let's suppose you do date someone while you're doing drag. Sometimes you're gonna get guys that just don't understand what you do. Where when you're performing, you're gonna get a lot of people who, while you're on stage or walking around, they grab your boob or they grab your ass, or maybe there's people who are flirting with you, people want to take pictures, people, you know, take up all your attention. And to someone who's not really a part of that community, it can be hard to take sometimes. You can end up with someone who's very jealous, because as entertainers, people feel comfortable to do those kind of things with us. I'm not really sure why that is, but still this can be very frustrating to someone who cares about you and doesn't like seeing you touched in that way. Part of the job is that flirtation. Part of the job is that interaction with people, the physics. Who is calling me? And that's just something that you're gonna have to deal with if you decide to date an entertainer. I always say that honesty is very important. If you're honest with whoever your partner is about what it is that you do, then there's no surprises. And it shouldn't matter what you do for a living. They either trust you to do what you do and be respectful of your relationship, or they don't. Now, what I have seen a lot in the community are entertainers that date other entertainers. Okay, so I'm taking this really, really dark brown called Layla, and we're gonna kind of use this as our smoky color and then add some black. You know, people tend to meet people that they're gonna date a lot of the times at work or social events, and if the majority of the time you're at the bars because this is what you do, there's a good possibility that you're gonna meet the person that you date there, whether it's a patron, a bartender, or another entertainer. Some of the positives are that this person's gonna understand what you do. This person's gonna understand that this is a creative outlet for you. They're gonna understand what you go through every day. They're gonna understand the importance of it to you. They're probably gonna be able to help you with a lot of the things that, you know, you wanna do as an entertainer. Or you can help each other. And you have a mutual level of respect for the craft, which is great because that's one big major thing to have in common. And it could be nice to share that with someone else. But also there can be some negatives as well, and it just totally depends on the person. You know, most of the time, you have to expect that someone may shine more than the other. It can be frustrating if you're a performer and, you know, you're grinding and you're trying to do your thing, and you kind of just feel like you're the tag-along or you're not as good. And that can create a space for animosity to grow, and that's not healthy. Hopefully you're mature enough to like be happy for the other person who's doing really well, and hopefully they can be respectful enough to look at you and be like, okay, well, let's help you rise and grow so that we can shine together. But that doesn't always happen. Ow. Oh, that hurt. It's that time, BB. And I'm gonna contour my nose now, but I'm gonna do it a little bit softer than I normally would. I'm just using the product that was already on here. Now, if you want to talk about me personally, reasons why I'm single, or reasons why I think I'm single. One, of course, being all the reasons I mentioned earlier. People's preferences. I'm not over 40, I'm not a daddy. I'm not under 25, I'm not a boy. Too masked for the guys that want femme guys, and way too femme for the guys that want mask guys. I think a lot of you can relate to that, but not just those reasons. I'm also a stone cold bitch. I don't like people. makes it difficult. But I wonder if you guys share my sentiment of like, I'd rather be alone than waste my time. Okay, I'm not totally pleased with this black, so I'm adding some more sparkle. Okay, we're gonna move on to lips now. I'm taking MAC Mahogany. This is all that I have left of this pencil. Does it remind you of any of the men you've dated? I want my lips super glossy. So glossy, I can't stand it anymore. Okay, my last step is gonna be some highlight. Recommend me down below some good highlighters, because I never know what to pick. All right, so now we're gonna put some lashes on, hair, maybe some nails, and we'll be right back. All right, so this is about as sexy as we're gonna get. Natasha does not really do sexy. It's not her thing. But I did bring the girls out to play. See, they're all pushed up nicely like, ooh, oh, ooh, God. Meanwhile, I think I'm kind of giving what I always wanted to give in life, even as a child. I always wanted to be one of those late 90s, you know, adult commercials late at night. Are you feeling lonely? Do you need someone to talk to? Maybe someone that wears hip pads, too much makeup, and enough dollar perfume spray to knock out a man? Well, you've called the right number. 1-800-WE-DO-DRAG. Standard rates and charges may vary. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video about us just getting ready together and chit-chatting about dating and drag. Let me know your experiences down below. Let me know if you're somebody who would date someone who did drag, if you are currently doing that, or what your experience is like as an entertainer trying to date out there in the community. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And until next time, night night.